So our training program is again divided, or this session is again divided into multiple blocks or sections. So I will quickly recap what we have completed like last session. For the members who have joined in new, this is kind of a place where you can understand. Everyone will have an idea like what is real world scenario, like if there is an interview question that's asked and if it is related to specifically experience. For example, what are the different types of assets? Yeah, I can answer, but when will you use what type of asset, and when can you store array of values in the asset is what an experienced developer can answer. Now you will be able to learn and understand all those details over here. Last session we have completed pretty a long session of 1 hour. The video is already available, and let's just see the video. Vajrang UiPath Orchestrator. So I'm just trying to search. Yeah, this is the one, UiPath Orchestrator Interview Preparation in 60 minutes. So I'm just adding this to the document, and I'll be placing it over here. Again, all the members who have registered for this program will get the access for this document, or will get the video link, or this can also be added to the description of the video. So you can go ahead and check out. This is video one. So whatever we are recording today will also be added up to this particular video, or as a new video, and then we'll be sharing it in the same document so that everything goes at one place. For now, let's go ahead and add it. We can change it later. So this is day two. We'll check with the video later. Day one, day two. I'll give you a quick brief. What is what and all, and then we'll continue. Now, everyone are thinking that complete orchestrator is cloud.uipod.com, or when we are trying to register for cloud.uipod.com, normal tendency is to say in an interview that okay, this is my orchestrator, and then everything in this is a part of orchestrator. So that is the first mistake that people will do, and we have already taken that in the notes. So there are multiple types of orchestrator: enterprise version of orchestrator, community version of orchestrator, and in enterprise again there are two versions. The first version is cloud version, and the second one is standalone installer that can be installed in the on-premise of a machine. And if you are logging into automation cloud, so whatever you are logging in, this is not orchestrator, this is just an automation cloud. Now in this automation cloud there is a part of activities that you can do in orchestrator. This is a service. So if you click on this is a service. Okay. Now in this automation cloud, you have multiple things: orchestrator, admin, where you can manage the users and do all the admin activities. You can have studio web where you can develop. And moreover, I'm not sure how many of you have checked this. I'm going to paste one link in the chat. Go ahead and register it right away. UiPath Studio Web on New York chapter. So we are conducting a 10 days series of UiPath Studio Web. This will be like the future of automation, especially with UiPath. So go ahead and register for this right away. So this is UiPath Studio Web series, and March 11th and March 12th workshop. All you need to do is click on the registration button and click on join. So there are already one or two registrations that's completed. I'm adding this in the chat. If you have completed, just do it right away. Don't wait till the end of the program. Do it right away. Do it right away. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, 2 minutes. Go ahead and do it right away. Please confirm. Once you are able to do it, just give it out in the chat that registered. We'll have 2 more minutes to get some responses. Go ahead, click on the link and just update and register. So all you need to do is log in or sign up. Click on this and sign up, register. And once it is done, just go ahead and give few details. So me and Swati will be our speakers, and we'll be having few more sessions that will be updated very soon. So yeah, now we are with the Studio Web. So register for the Studio Web event. This will help you out to learn and understand what is the future. And if you are going to interview, like this can be the next questions that you can expect. Like, do you know about Studio Web, and do you have experience with Studio Web? For developers especially. And integration service, if you are able to connect with all the different services like Gmail and Outlook, whatever services that you are connecting, like you can connect directly from UiPath Orchestrator or Automation Cloud. Apps, we can develop apps, data service where you can store data, or data you can use it like a database and process where it contains list of jobs or list of activities or projects that we have, that we can see it over here. So everything here is altogether called as automation cloud. It's not orchestrator. And moreover, some people may pronounce it like orchestrator. It's not orchestrator, it's orchestrator. Again, in orchestrators, we will have different tenants. And if you are seeing in here, like I have multiple tenants, Vajrang, Dev, Production, and QA. So every tenant is like a container which contains different environments. Or for example, if there are all the variables that need to be available in the development environment, I'll connect to my development environment. And I cannot have my production in the production environment, so I'll change it to prod. Now this will not be available for you if you are using community version. We are using enterprise license, and that's the reason we have access for multi-tenants. So check out, in organizations we'll have multiple tenants, and the tenants are divided like dev, QA, and prod, and that's how we are going to segregate the information. Now in tenants we'll have orchestrator folders, and if you are seeing here, we are having something called as folders like shared workspace and all. Let me just go back to the personal workspace of mine. Now if you're seeing here, there are multiple other folders like pipeline shade. In the shade we will have different folders. So you can take a team name and you can add this as your folder, and everyone in that group, for example, whoever joined this meeting link will have access to the notes and the recording. Whoever did not join, they will not have access. So in the same way, whoever are assigned to this particular folder, only they will have access to all the resources in that particular folder. No one else will be able to access it until it's given explicitly. Now one more interview question, like how many days can we store logs and queue items? By default it's 30 days, but you can extend it further to 90 days in the orchestrator. The example of it is, go to your queues and add a new queue. When you create a new queue, you will be showing here like, okay, what is the daily retention duration? It's 30 days. You can also move it to storage bucket. That's different scenario, but you can also always increase it to 100 days or 200 days or 10,000 1,000 days also. Okay, it must be between 180 days. So it's they are accepting a max of 6 months. So 180 days. So after 180 days, all the queues will be deleted, or all the queue items will be deleted. Okay, now if you are going and attending an interview, like have you seen the licenses and how many licenses do you have? All you can tell to an interviewer is, no, we don't have access for the licenses part because that is managed by our admin or our lead, and we are given access only to the tenants and our required jobs. Don't say that I have access for everything. No one will have access for everything. And even when you are a developer, you will have access only for the development environment. You will not have access to the prod tenant. In some scenarios, if you are not a support user, they will have only the view access of the prod. Now, what is the uses of orchestrator? Scheduling the jobs, monitoring the jobs. Like I have a job to execute. I will check on it and I will schedule it. And licensing, how many licenses must be given to one particular user? It's like a central place or central location where everything can be placed, and we can control from here. Let's say that I have 100 different robots. I cannot go into each and every machine to log into that bot and to check what are the details. Now instead of that, we will have orchestrator. In that orchestrator, we'll have something called as logs. In the logs, we will be able to see what are the different options that we have, like where the bot is corrected, where the bot is successful, where the bot is failure. Everything is available in the orchestrator directly. So this is like a central repository. Now there is also something called as role based access control. Now if you are going back and seeing with the orchestrator, and if you're going into the admin panel, there are multiple roles. There is a developer role, there is a role or groups, you can also call as, there is a role called administrator, developer, express, automation users. So a member who is assigned with admin access will be able to see this, and anyone who is assigned with any other role will not be able to see any of it. And moreover, you're seeing something in the orchestrator, right? Like I'm able to see the jobs and all. Like if I'm not given access, launch. If I'm not given access for this orchestrator, then I will not be able to see it. And let's say that I belong to HR department, I will not be able to see other folders over here. So this is how we will manage in the organization. So that's a quick update on the last session, and we'll be working with day 2. So again, this is very important. If you're going for an interview, like they will ask you on how do you need to access your jobs and how do you need to control what's being assigned and what's not being assigned. This is like a live session, so don't miss it and wait till the end. Now there are multiple places where you can store the information. Now, there is a difference between job and a package and a process. How many of you know the difference between, again, interview question, between job, package, and then process? And how many of you know the difference? So I'll first write package, then process, then job. Add it in the chat. Let's go ahead. Let's make it interactive. Let's see what is the difference between job, package, and a process. Process is package with folder. Okay, something that job is runtime instance. Okay, of the process. Got it. Any other questions? It may not be the complete correct answer. So okay, fine. Let's go ahead and continue. Package is code, process is workflow of the package, and job is execution of the process. Nagraj, you are right. And yes, package is like just code. We don't know where to execute. It's just a code. For example, I have an information that there is a meeting that's being conducted on a specific date. I don't know anything else. So that is a package. Now process, you got information on date and time. Okay. How to execute. I know how to execute, where to execute, how and where to execute. For example, in this meeting, if you're joining, if I just say that there is a meeting, go ahead and join, no one will be able to join because I haven't provided you the invite, meeting invite or the meeting link. But if I provided you meeting link as well as the time to join, then that's how it's being taken as a process. Now let's say that we are having two sessions. Now every session or every time you attend this meeting is a job of yours. Last time if you have attended the orchestrated day one session, that's job one, and now if you're attending day two session, this is job two. So the process is same, like there is one meeting invite that's being shared, and you just need to make sure you are going to like whatever process or whatever package that you are having, you are doing it or you are executing that code. So that is the reason this is the job. So it clearly knows what to execute, or job is something like what executed, where it's executed, and what are the logs at one instance. For example, if you are doing a second time, then it's a second job. So that is the difference between job, process, and a package. Understand this. This is very important if you're going for an interview. Now, if you're seeing this particular tenant, there is a global folder, or you can say this is like a global folder called tenant. And in this, this is like an admin panel for the tenant. There you can assign robots, folders, monitoring. So I'll just keep it on the right so that we will have notes on the left, and we'll try to sync it up. Okay, so if you're seeing here, we are having something called as tenant. What is the difference between tenant and a folder? Now, a tenant is a container for an environment. In your organization, this can be the scenario. In some other organizations, it can be different. But a folder inside a tenant folder can be acted as a group. For example, I have HR department and I also have IT department. All the automations that are with HR should not be accessible by IT. So, but everyone are with development environment or dev environment. Under dev environment, we have HR folder, IT folder. Like here, if you can see, I can just go ahead and create new folders, create a new folder, HR. I will tell you more about this process feed and package feed later. Create, and let's also create something called as IT. I'm going to change this one to create a new package feed for this folder. We'll also discuss on this one. So what is the difference between this HR and IT? Now these are both different teams. Let's discuss. Okay. Now here this is a tenant, and the tenant is used for what? It's like a environment. Is it correct? According to our
Yeah,
understanding. Now
yeah.
inside tenant we have different teams, and HR is one team and IT is one team. Will you give access of all the automations of HR to IT department?
No.
So you will have a different team, right? For that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
Okay.
the reason we are maintaining this in the folders. So if you want to give access for this particular folder, all we need to do is in the settings, manage folder access. And here you can give as many users as you want. For example, I can give Vajrang, and I have robot as well as user. I can give access for this particular person, and also I can already assign. It's already assigned. So it's telling that it's already assigned, but you can edit it. Here now it is a folder administrator. Now if you want to add few more roles, you can go ahead and add few more roles. So this is how you are going to assign users. Now will you give every user and administrator access for
No,
the folder? Let's
no.
say that there is a manager who don't know how to code, what kind of access will you provide? Will you provide developer access or a user access?
I would say user access.
Let's say that there is a developer and he wants to have access to maintain or manage this particular folder. Which access will you give? Will you give automation developer or user or administrator?
I'll give automation developer.
You need to also give automation folder
Administrator.
because he needs to manage access for the
Okay.
users.
Okay.
Okay, so the folders are like a minimal way or the way how you can enable access for multiple team members inside the tenant. Clear
Okay.
on this?
Yeah, got it.
Now the
Got it.
best part is, let's say that HR team, we have two other folders or two other groups, HR department 1 and HR department 2, or someone like payroll and someone like hiring. So will you give access for payroll department automations to hiring?
No.
So to segregate it, we can also create further segregations. Like we will be able to create payroll, and the second one, let's also create something called as, but both belongs to HR, right?
Yeah.
Create a subfolder, and here let's go ahead and give payroll, not payroll, hiring. So now, will you give everyone access to hiring, or if whoever is in HR, or will you give only specific team members?
I would give only to specific team members.
So if you can see here, here we are able to see the users. This is the place where we can see how many members are able to access this particular folder.
Okay.
Clear? And
Yeah.
also the machines. Let's say that there are 100 machines. Will you give access to all the machines that are connected to the orchestrator?
No.
So in the
Like,
manage access, you will have a manage machines to this folder, and you will be able to see how many machines are available, and you will give the required machine.
yeah. Okay. Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So if you're seeing here, there is something called as tenant. Now in tenant, we are having a specific place called packages. Now, what is the difference? This is one more interview question. What is the difference between packages here? And if you see IT department, I have enabled folder packages for IT, but I haven't enabled for HR. So what is the difference between packages to this particular folder and packages in the tenant? So difference packages
The
in,
packages which are in tenant can be accessible by everyone who has
okay.
the things, and the folder is limited to the person who has that folder access.
So tenant access um, or tenant package access is for everyone. Okay, but if you see here in the IT department, we have enabled in the automations, we have folder packages. So let's go ahead and try to create a process, add a process in the packages. Do you see a package here? There are already few packages of mine in the tenant. If you can see over here, can you see some packages? Okay,
Yes.
if you're going into payroll and if you try to create a process, can you see the process packages? But when you are going into IT, we will not be able to do the same because IT department thought that they don't want the tenant packages, they want their own packages and they don't want to give access for everyone. So that is the reason they have restricted to make sure that only they can access their own packages. Even if their packages are available in the tenant, they will not be able to add it as a process. Now interview question, can if the process, if the IT, if any folder is private or that doesn't have that has separate folder packages, will you be able to add a process that is in the tenant because that's globally accessible? What is the answer?
Yes.
Answer is no, because it has its own folder packages and it is not allowing to add tenant packages. Okay, so if it has its own folder, it will not be able to access the tenant. Now if it doesn't have any folder packages on its own, then it can access the tenant packages. Clear on this? So these are the normal interview questions that people ask, and people will get to uh, get not to understand that. Now, if there is a machine that's created at a tenant level, okay, will you be able to access it in the private folder or folder that is restricted? Will you be able to access?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The reason is a machine will not have a separate folder access. You need to enable the folder. For example, I need to enable this one, but this doesn't have folder machines. All the folders need to be assigned, or all the machines need to be assigned at a tenant level, and they must be given access to the folders. Clear on this? Now, in while we are doing machines, there is something called as add machine and add. Again, these are two new things. Again, people, not everyone are using this, and machine template is the generic one that now people are going and using it. In attended setup, there is something called serverless and VM. Okay. Now, what is the difference between automation cloud robot and self-hosted robot? What is automation cloud robot? Simple. Now, when we are using automation cloud, you will not have access to the machine, but you can use UiPath machines. So there, those are your servers where you are running it. Now, if you are using a self-hosted machine, for example, your local machine or any machine of yours, your server or anything, that's when you need to use self-hosted unattended robot machine template. You need to click on next and you need to select the machine template. Again, if you are not having a machine template, it's different. So what is a machine template? Now, in your home, how many machines do you have or how many laptops do you have?
Yeah, I have two laptops, Vajay.
Are two laptops having the same configuration or a different configuration?
It's a different configuration.
In an organization, if you're seeing, a complete team or a group will have similar systems with similar configurations. Is it correct?
Yeah,
Now, if you are going into some kind of a call center where there are 10 different machines, there is no restriction that one person should go and sit in one machine only, right? He or she can go and sit on any machine and log in to continue to work. They need not depend on or settle on one machine. Is it correct?
yes,
So in that scenarios where we will have all the machine which one with one configuration, then we will use something called as machine template. So in machine template, now in one machine, can we have multiple users? Can multiple users log into the same machine?
yeah, they can,
They can select, right? For
yeah,
example, you and me are working in the same department. I have my own login. I will be able to log into the same machine. And on the server, you also have your own login. So you will also be able to log into the same machine. Is it correct?
yeah,
So machine template, the machine is same or the machine template is same. Like in the same way, we will be able to do it in all the different machines in that particular group. So in a machine template, we can log into different accounts. So first we will select the machine template. Again, can you go and access other company or other teams machines?
no,
No, because that's a different machine template.
yeah, okay,
Okay, there you will not be able to log in because you there you don't have access for your account. Now you need to create a robot account and you need to provide access, and then you need to select this folder. Okay, what is this folder? What is this folder? Will will you need access for all the folders or do you need access to your own specific folders?
it would be my specific folder only.
For example, you're from hiring team, you need to have access only to the hiring department folders, right?
Yeah,
So that's what you need to give. And finally, we need to install and connect. This is what you will get. You will get a machine client ID and client secret, and you need to connect it to your machine.
okay, yeah, got it.
Okay.
So basically,
Now,
you will group
mm,
all the machines which we need the robot to run into this machine template, and
exactly.
the folder which we want the access, we'll select that and create the template so that the
Mm,
bot could run in any of the machines that were part of the machine template.
perfect.
Yes. Okay, got it.
Now, what is the difference between a robot and a machine? Now,
Robot
in a
would be
robot would be
robot would be the software agent which UiPath provides, and machine would be our machines like servers where the robot runs.
other than that, you can also say a robot is something. Can we treat a user as a robot which has UiPath installed in it, UiPath Assistant installed in it? Because
Yeah,
let's say that, let's go back to the previous example. We have a machine and you and me were able to log into the same machine, right?
yeah,
So you are acting as one robot and I am also acting as one more robot. Both can access one machine,
yeah,
but our credentials are different. Is it right?
true.
We cannot have the same user and same password. So that is the reason every user will be created as a robot.
Okay,
Okay, but all the robots can have access to multiple machines if they are assigned to.
okay, okay, got it. Hmm.
You can treat or you can think something like this. In your laptop, how many users can you add? You are the one person. Can you add your own, like, can you create one more user for your father or for your brother or for your uh, for your son or daughter, and can you give access for them and can they log into their own version?
Yes, they can.
Okay,
They
so
can.
that's the way how you need to think about the users. Those are logins for a particular machine.
Okay, okay, got it.
So this background process and foreground process is used for attended mode. For unattended mode, it is only one job or execution. So if there is already one job that's executing, you cannot run further jobs on it. You need to wait for the job to be completed.
Okay. If we need to run another process, we need to buy one more robot, right?
Yeah, one more unattended robot
Okay. Okay. All right.
in parallel.
Okay. Okay.
How can 10 background automations happen in parallel, Vajrang? Like
See,
there would be
okay.
an agent, right?
Yeah, in the agent, they will run in the background. Like when you're creating or when you're starting with a job, you can select unattended robot, or sorry, not a background process as a template. Is it right? Which doesn't have UI interaction.
Okay.
So you can use it to start the job.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, again, how we can do this, I cannot explain everything now. That's a part of projects training program. We'll see that later in the paid training program, because that particular part itself will take around 2 to 3 days to understand and to implement. Now, this is something that you must understand or clearly see. Now, can you see here the execution types? What are the execution types and all over here? Everything is unattended mode. Okay. Now, if there is an attended mode, you will be having attended user access. For example, if there is a type into, or if there is a message box that user must click, or if there is an input form that user must fill in when you during the execution, can it be treated as a foreground process or a background process?
It's a foreground process.
Foreground process, right? But
Yes.
it is unattended. Oh, sorry, it's not unattended, it's attended, because you need to enter some information during the execution time. So you need to understand and see if there is anything that user must enter or user needs to interact, then that's a foreground, then that's a attended process, or else it's a background process. Clear on this?
Yeah, Vajrang.
Now, here is something that you must understand, something called as audit. Now, in a organization, you will not be the only person, right? You will have 10 different people or 100 different people, and we cannot control what everyone are doing, but we need to see what everyone are doing. So admins will have access for this, and they will be able to see who did what. I'm user, and action is associate, and I have associated this particular user to this machine. And this component, if you are seeing here, I created a folder, I deleted a folder, whatever I am able to see or I have done for the past 30 days, I will be able to see it over here. Okay. Now, second thing is credentials. Now, how many of you know that you will also be able to add, along with your orchestrator credentials, these many different providers of credentials? Like you will be able to provide Azure Key Vault, you will be able to provide Beyond Trust, Password Safe, CyberArk, database. You can also provide database. Like if you're providing database, you need to give further details. That's a different task. Okay, orchestrated database is already used. This is the orchestrated database. Now, if you want to use CyberArk ACP, then you need to provide these details. So, again, interview question: can you store credentials other than an orchestrator? What is the answer? And have you used it?
Yes.
Yes.
And have you used it?
Yes.
You can say that no, I haven't used it, because that is managed by my admin team. Okay. And see, as a developer, you will not have access for everything. The normal tendency of a developer is I need to have access for everything and I will do everything in the orchestrator. No, that's not how it goes in an organization. You will have access to limited resources, and you need to work with those resources. And see, these are settings. If something goes wrong, everyone in the team is going to suffer. We will not give access for everyone. Is it correct?
Yeah, Vajrang.
Okay. So here we can create or we can add more credential vaults. So this is called vault. And if you're seeing here, this is read only Azure Secret Manager. So you cannot do anything over here. But if you want to use this one, you can write and add information from this. So have you used it? No, I haven't used it, because my organization uses orchestrator credentials. Clear on this? How to answer this question?
Yeah,
Can you
Vajrang.
add
Yes.
more credentials, add more keywords to orchestrator? So what is the answer for this one, Bhargav?
Yeah, we can add more.
Yes, go
Um,
to tenant, go to credentials, and then we need to go to add credential. Okay, next, let's check with further details. We will have something called license. This is the part where someone is asking like, how can we give more licenses? Okay, now this is assigned at a tenant level. So licenses are arranged like this. So global automation cloud licenses. Okay, so think of your government. Now if you are from a government, your central government provides you some funds. Is it correct? To the states.
Yeah.
Okay, and states divide them and add few more details, or states divide them internally to their users. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Now, if automation cloud is the central government, okay, tenant is the state government.
Okay.
Now in tenant again we'll have users. These are called folders.
Okay.
Now these are users, uh, folders, and these are users. Now if RBI or any central bank, if they don't release the amount, will the state government be able to use it?
No.
No. So first we need to have some amount in the central government, or we need to have some license in the automation cloud. Now who will give licenses to the automation cloud?
UiPath.
UiPath will sell
Yeah.
licenses. So when they sells, licenses will be added up into the automation cloud. If you are seeing here, this will be added up in the automation cloud over here. Now, how many licenses do we have for automation developer?
2 licenses.
How many express licenses do we have?
100.
Okay. Now, licenses for groups. Again, here I can give licenses for individual groups. That's a different scenario. Again, license to allocation, I can assign it to single user. But if you're seeing here, I'm assigning the licenses. And if you go into this tenant and licenses, can you see that there are licenses allocated to this group? If you click on edit allocation, can you see how many licenses are allocated? Now, do I have all the production licenses attended or only one?
For now, it's 1.
Yes. Do we have developer licenses attended attached to this?
No.
Okay. So if I want to add further details, or if I want to add few more information, I can go ahead and do it. So this is the central government and these are the state governments.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's say that there is 100 rupees available, or there is 100 available for the central government. Can it assign 110 to the state government?
No.
Because there is a deficit of 10, right? So it can
Yeah.
assign only the limited amount that it has.
Okay.
Understood on
So,
this licensing part?
yeah, understood. Vijay. Like, what would be the range of cost for these licenses?
I hope you don't think about it, or you don't worry about it, because even me, like not everyone will be able to go and ask for license. Okay, how to buy license is something that I can tell. You can go into licenses. Okay, and if you're seeing here, the subscription expiry is 2025, but I will be able to check with the free licenses over here, and also I will be able to see some uh, like I can purchase some licenses directly from uh, UiPath sales team. Now, when I go to UiPath sales team, contact us page, we will be given a sales representative. Okay. Now,
Okay.
we we will directly need to fill this information, and also we need to check with the message team, and they will connect us. For example, in our organization, if you are sending some information, Sushma is available to connect with you, right? At some point of time when you are having some information that you need to take. I'm not connecting with you every time.
Yeah, Vijay. Yeah.
So one of the team will be able to connect with you, and they will be able to allocate licenses.
Okay. Got it. Vijay.
Okay. Now alerts. Now alerts are something very important. There are multiple types of alerts. You can see robot alert, transaction alert, triggers, jobs, process, and all. Again, not everyone needs this, but if you're seeing at a tenant level, if there is some robot that's failing, what's the robot? The transactions, how many transactions are failing, you will be able to see this at a tenant level. Okay, you need not go into each and every folder for the alerts itself, not the details. Now, you will also be able to filter it based on last day, last week, and last 30 days. Will you be able to check more than 30 days? What's the
I
answer? Is
think
it yes or no?
we need to give the retention period, right? Each week.
Yes, that's right. But you can also click on all to see if there is anything that's more than 30 days.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going into settings, now what you have seen here in the admin panel is the organization settings. Now, this tenant settings, these are the tenant settings specifically. If you can see here, for example, I'm working at a EST time zone. How can you change the time zone over here? Just go into tenant settings and change the time zone, because some organizations works in EST, some organizations works in CST, some work in Indian Standard Time, some in Malaysian Standard Time. So they want to have all the job logs at specific time zone, they need to select this one. By default, what is the time zone selected?
Mm.
This is the
UTC.
universal coordinate UTC. This is central time. or coordinated universal time. From this, it will be plus or minus. India will be plus 4:30 or 5:30 from this time. Okay. Now, personal workspaces. Now, if you see here, this is my workspace, right? Now, will everyone in the team have access to this folder?
No.
No. So, for example, if I'm a developer, I need to have some my own automations. I can keep it in this particular folder. And if I want to give access for others, normally I will not be able to share this with anyone. All I need to do is I need to move these assets into different folders. Clear?
Yeah.
Now, if you are seeing here, automatically configure serverless machines for personal workspace for Studio Web users. So if there is a Studio Web, again, this is what I'm telling. This is the future or what going to happen next 6 months. So these are the settings. Like if there is a serverless robot. Now, every time you need to run an automation, do you need to assign a robot first and you need to set all the settings, right? To all the settings, configurations.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will not be the future. Automation automatically will have some robots and you can assign it and you can run automatically on them,
Is it similar to AWS Lambda or something?
something like that.
Okay.
Okay. Now we will also have something like client libraries, ignore auto updates. For example, let's say that ignore auto update status for robot machines that were offline for more than 60 days. Now all the now orchestrator is sending updates to your machines. Now you will see sometimes like UiPath Studio must be updated, UiPath Assistant must be updated, right?
Yes,
And
Manjula.
you will
Yeah.
upgrade. So if your machine is not connected for more than 60 days, it will stop updating your machine. It will stop sending notifications to your machine.
Okay.
So if enabled, the status of the machines did not connect, orchestrator in the past selected days will not be taken into consideration when calculating the overall template status. Now we are creating a template, right? In the template, we are assigning some information. So that's how we need to check it. Now, enable account machine mappings is used to map an account, specific account to a user. Again, we are not going to use it for now. Let's go ahead and delete it. Now API settings, allow list of API triggers. Now this is again for API triggers. This is the newer version. We need to yet to go with that. Even organizations are not yet using this. This is the community version. So don't go too much into APIs for now. Don't People will not ask questions, and if they ask, just say that you don't know. They will just test it for some reason. They just want to show that they know something else in the interview. Clear? Now let's go with deployment. Now, package deployments, is it internal or external? So whenever you deploy a package, it goes into our local in the packages folder, right? You will also be able to do it at a different location. For example, I have a NuGet manager and there is a deployment URL, and I can provide my URL over here, and I can also give my authentication keys over here. So will the packages store in my orchestrator, or will it store in different place?
It would be stored in a different place.
And you have access for it. Now, if you can see here, libraries feeds, only host feed, only tenant feed, both host and tenant feeds. So when you are checking with host feeds and tenant feeds, a host is your machine. Okay, in that machine, whatever you need to have, you need to check with that. And tenant feed is your environment. In this environment, we'll have something called as libraries. If you are seeing in the packages, so manage packages, leave package, libraries. Can you see all the libraries over here? So this is what you will have in your studio when you try to search something. For example, I have uipath.web. Do you have web activities over here? So these are the activities that you're going to see in your studio. Clear on this? How you're getting that list of items?
Yeah.
Everything is
Then this
connected.
will be reusable, right?
Yeah, these are reusable. For example, these are stored at once. When you create every project, this will be downloaded to that project.
Project, yeah. Okay.
And one more thing, you can also have different versions of it. And that's the reason you will see different versions, like 1.8 preview version and all. These are uploaded by UiPath.
Okay.
And in the changelog, you will be able to see what are the changes that are happening. Again, not skipping, going into settings. Now in the mail, whenever you have some error, you will get mail notifications that specific job is faulted. From where are you getting? This is the setup, like default mail settings, or if you want to add custom mail settings for your organization, you can also do that. By default, UiPath sends it. Robot security. Now, total hours a robot can run offline without license verification. Now, every time our robot is connected, it's asking for a license, right? Like you need to connect to your
Yes.
orchestrator. If you change it
And
to
one
30,
question, like for the license as you are talking about, let me add a note. So what is the cost for entrepreneur? Like, let's say if an organization needs small organization.
Yeah,
So it
it can
depends
be
on.
around 5 lakhs per year for the orchestrator, and within that bundle they will give you some around four attended licenses, few developer licenses, and few unattended licenses. Again, this will change constantly, so that's the reason you need to connect with the sales team rather than me.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Now, if you're seeing here robot authentication, it's hybrid. Now, robot user authentication, it's interactive sign-in. So all your machines that you're currently working on are interactive sign-ins. So you need to log in, right, to your orchestrator from the assistant or studio.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the set. Those are the settings that you can get over here, and this is the setting for sending or checking with the licenses. Now, scalability. Okay, now signaler robots is something that we haven't, even I haven't used, because that might be something at a very large scale. I need to check it out yet. Now, let's say that your automation is created and it must be executed every day on all the working days. And your every company has their own specific client holders. Is it correct?
Yeah.
So you will be able to add a calendar so that your automations will not work on those days. Sample excluded days. I can go ahead and open the file. I'm going to take 5 more minutes and then we'll close the session. It's completed almost. And every point that I have mentioned today is an interview question. Can you see these dates? 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, and all. This is the month, date, and the year. So bot, even though it's configured, it will not be executed on these days. And how
Will
can
it,
you add this back? Just update the dates and click on this and click on upload date. Before that, you just need to add information. Okay, and Vajrang leaves. Okay, on the specific days, bot should not execute. If I want to select a few more, I can go ahead and do it, but click on save. So will my bot execute on these days? Whichever automation is configured, will it be executed on these days or not? Whatever days I have mentioned.
no.
No. So again, this is a different cloud connections provider over here. If I
One
want to
thing,
provide
will
any,
it
yeah,
save, one question, sorry to cut you.
yeah.
Will it save the license period if we do like that? Like if the bot does not, let's say they gave license for 1 year,
Hmm.
the bot does not execute on these 5 days,
No,
will it extend? No.
no.
Okay.
It will be for 1 year, even though you use it or not.
Okay, fine.
And that's the reason we have something called as robot units, but that's a different topic or completely different topic. Now you will be able to add GCP, AWS, and Azure. And here is the client ID and secrets where you can add the cloud connections or cloud machines. And here you have cloud robot images. I have a cloud robot image name, robot service username, image file link, and image OS. You will be able to see desktop user or desktop server. Again, have you used it or have you used it extensively? Not yet. Will we use it in future? Definitely. These are good to know. Not every developer knows all these details.
Yeah, yeah.
But important activities are till here. Credentials. So you need to know about robots, you need to know folders, you need to know monitoring. For example, there is a job that's not connected. You can see here how many jobs are running, how many are pending, how many are stopping, and how many are resumed. Everything you can see here. You can also see the machines, how many are connected or not. You can see the process, how many process. There is one pending job that's currently working that we need to assign. And queues, how many queues are available. Now licenses, what are the licenses that are provided? Unattended machines. Now if you can see here, this is one interview question. Now a robot is provided with all the details, but it's not able to connect. Why? Because you have provided all the details, but you haven't enabled unattended session for that particular robot. For example, this session, I did not enable this unattended license in the orchestrator. So if all the details are provided, will the robot automatically execute, or do I need to provide permissions from the orchestrator?
You need to provide.
We need to assign licenses, and if you are
Mhm.
enabling maintenance mode, wait for running jobs to finish before the maintenance default. Placing a machine under maintenance mode will not allow it to accept new jobs. Any pending jobs will not be picked up by the maintenance mode is turned off. For example, I'm updating my machine and I should not trigger or I should not turn off my trigger. So if I enable maintenance mode, this bot will not pick up any new jobs.
Okay. So existing jobs would be done within this
Existing
mode?
jobs will be completed and then it will not stop. Or you can also click on kill the current jobs as of now.
Okay. Okay.
Both options are available. And in the user settings, like if there is any specific user with specific details, you can also provide over here. You can get or check over here in the monitoring.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there are few things that I would like to give away as a last part. Now, if there is a bot that's failing continuously, how can you check where is it failing and what is that? What are the steps? Again, this is an interview question. Now, I will first go into my orchestrator, check in my automations and then the jobs. Check if the job is successful or failure. Okay, if the job is successful, I will check in the logs, or if the job is failure, I can check in the logs and find the details. And if the job is, for example, you have everything, you have also robot trigger setup, but the job did not trigger. Why? Can you answer that? Why the job did not trigger?
Is there any communication failure between the studio and the orchestrator?
The trigger is not enabled.
Okay.
Okay, that's one way. And if you're seeing in the jobs, you can export all the logs for a particular job and then you can execute it. Let's go ahead and try to start the process. Let's see if there is any process. I can just go ahead and add a log. I don't have any runtime. So whenever you don't see a runtime, what is your next step? For example, you want to start a job and you're seeing that there are no runtimes available. Then why they are not available?
Is it because all the licenses are being used?
No, it is because you haven't assigned a machine and a user to a particular folder. Now here, leave this page. Now in this particular folder, if I want to execute something, my machine and my robot should be assigned.
Okay.
Assign machines and folders. If both are assigned, only then I will be able to see the runtime over there.
Okay. Yeah.
And machine also must be assigned with a license. Can you see the license over here?
Yeah.
If the machine is not assigned with a license, will I be able to execute?
No.
So there are multiple factors, but this can be your generic answer.
Okay.
Okay, an experienced person will never give a straightforward answer. One straightforward answer. Let me correct it. Experienced person will not give one straightforward answer. He will give 3 to 4 different ways of straightforward answers. In multiple
Okay.
ways, we can solve the problem, but we need to be able to tell that these are different ways how we can solve it. Okay. By that, we are going to stop till here. There are
Vajra,
multiple. Yes, go ahead.
one last question, please.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, like let's say I want to trigger this orchestrator from service now.
Yeah.
Like if the user has some ticket or incident, it should trigger this orchestrator a particular job. How can we
Yeah.
do that?
So latest triggers available right now are API triggers.
Okay.
So you will be able to add a new trigger and you can make an API call, and whenever that API triggers, it can execute. This is the latest, and we this is again in previous stage. Not every organization uses it.
Okay.
Or there can be a different service that takes this API call and executes it. Even that will work.
How can we configure that this particular job has to be triggered when we got
Yeah,
it?
that's called APIs, right? So you need to go to your administration, go here, and first and check with the license access. If you're seeing here, you have IP access, right?
Okay.
You need to connect to this API, and how I'm revoking the access right now. Okay, I need to connect to this API, and then I need to work or make API calls. Every process will have an unique ID. You need to know that unique ID to start.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for today's session. Again, there are few updates. Don't leave it right away. The updates are simple, and I'm selected as second time UiPath MVP for the year 2024. Also, thank you so much, everyone, for your.
Congratulations, Vajra.
Thank you so much. So now, since
Congratulations.
past two,
Yeah.
thanks, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. So I'm coming to India in the month of February and March, and I'm hosting a event, live event, offline. We are trying to make it offline events where people can come, join, and interact. So if you are interested, keep checking our posts, and you need to fill out a form. You will be sent out the details on how you need to attend.